Hello guys and welcome to the Predict Football Show. I'm here to give 5 picks, or rather 5 matches that I think will play over 2.5 come this weekend. The first match I'll go to is in the Bundesliga in Germany, and this is a match between Freiburg and Eintracht Frankfurt. I mean, looking at these teams, they actually usually produce goals in their matches. The last 6 matches in which Eintracht Frankfurt have been involved in, both in the Bundesliga and the Champions League, have produced at least 3 goals. Some of them produced as much as 10 goals. I mean, example is the game between them and Borussia Mönchengladbach a couple of weeks ago, or rather 3 weeks ago. And the other game, the other team involved in this match being Freiburg, also usually produced goals, although their last game was a little surprising in the sense that they actually met a Borussia Mönchengladbach side that normally concede goals, but in that game they managed to shut Freiburg out, and also Freiburg also did not also concede in that game. But I think in this game that both sides will score, and I actually see at least one of them, if not both of them, scoring at least 2 goals in this game. So a 2.5 over 2.5 for me is very, very appropriate, and I think that it will come into fruition come the end of this weekend. So that's that for that game, over 2.5 between Freiburg and Eintracht Frankfurt. So moving on to the Spanish La Liga, the game that I think will play over 2.5 in this league is the game that involves Villarreal versus Real Betis. This is a game that is going to be involving 2 sides that are, usually around just outside the top 4 of the Spanish La Liga. I mean, Villarreal this season, or last season rather, qualified for the Champions League, courtesy of their league finish, and then Real Betis just narrowly missed out on the Champions League place. And for me, I think these 2 teams are very much on the same level when it comes to quality, and that has shown so far in their performances so far in the league. After playing 8 matches so far, they are both very close to each other, with Villarreal being in 3rd position and the Real Betis being in the 4th position, and not really much separating them, just 1 point separating them thus far. I think this game will be highly contested. I actually think that both of these sides will score, and once again I also think that even as both of these sides are scoring, one of them at least will score up to 2 goals in this game. I mean, looking at the head-to-head record in recent years, I mean, last season, both fixtures involving them ended up in 2-1 win on one of these sides, and I think that may replicate itself this weekend as well. So I think it will be an over 2.5 game, and I think that it will be very, very wise to take on them to play that way. So Villarreal, Real Betis over 2.5. And then the next game on my sleep is the game between Olympique Marseille versus Le Havre. This game is taking place in the French Ligue 1, and this game will involve a side that is really, really in good form, in the persons of Olympique Marseille, and then Le Havre, who are not really, really performing very well. But I mean, they are not the worst side in the league, but they don't have to be in order to show themselves as a little bit, not to diminish them, but a little bit inferior to Olympique Marseille. I mean, Marseille are like 9 points ahead of them, and Marseille are playing at home. Most persons expect Marseille to win this match. I also expect Marseille to win this game, but I actually think that beyond winning this game, I think this game will produce at least 3 goals. All 3 goals may come from Marseille. That's very possible. I think that with the quality that Marseille have, and with the points gap that they have between them and PSG, they wouldn't want to let it slip so early in the league. So I think they'll really try as much as possible to win this game, and win it very, very well. There's a possibility that Marseille also concedes, because somehow, even as Marseille have managed to do good for themselves, they've also conceded in a few matches. But nonetheless, I think that whether they concede or not, I see this game having at least 3 goals. And like I said earlier, all 3 goals may come from the Olympique Marseille side. Havre also on their own end have not been in good form. I mean, they've conceded in most of the matches they've played in, and in some of these games they've conceded up to 2 or 3 goals in them, and I see that happening in this particular game as well. So I see a game in which there will be 3 goals. So I would say that if my fans out there, do well to stick on this particular game. So an Olympique Marseille versus Al Havre game having over 2.5 goals, it's a very, very, very okay bet for me. So having said that, I'm moving on to the next game in my bet slip. That's the game involving Heracles versus Feyenoord. Feyenoord are, from the number of points so far accrued, they're the best team in the Dutch league, and Heracles are somewhere, languishing around the last position. And I think this game, even if Feyenoord are away from home, I think Feyenoord will score multiple goals in this game. They may also concede one, because in Feyenoord, even if they are really good, it seems like their defense is not really the best, and they somehow managed to score some odd goals here and there. And I think this game they may also concede a goal, but nonetheless, I see them scoring multiple goals and winning this game. But I'm not here to speak about wins. I'm here to speak about goals, and I see them scoring multiple goals. Like I said earlier, if a case that actually supports my point is their head-to-head record from recent years, looking at last season and last 2 seasons, Heracles versus Feyenoord games have produced up to at least 3 goals in them. Some games have actually had up to 5 goals in them as well. Even one of the games produced up to 7 goals. So I mean, this game is promising to produce multiple goals, and I think come the end of this weekend it will really, really be so. So Heracles versus Feyenoord over 2.5. And I think that's a very good bet for this particular fixture. And then the last game on my list is the game involving Cristiano Ronaldo's team. I mean, most of us out there know this team already. Al Nassr versus Al Fateh. It's in the Saudi League, the Saudi Pro League, and I think this game, first and foremost, it should be a win for Al Nassr. They're top in the league, but maintaining to their current fashion in which they face teams and they actually pummel the teams, especially when they are home. I think Al Nassr will score up to 3 goals in this game. But whether they do the scoring alone or not, I think this game will have at least 3 goals in it. So I see this game having over 2.5 in it. Even looking at the head-to-head record, you see that Al Nassr versus Al Fateh usually produces goals in them. I mean, the last 5 matches involving these 2 sides have produced at least 3 goals in it. Some of them have produced as much as 5 goals actually. So I think this game will also continue with that trend, and then this game will actually produce up to 3 goals or even more in it. And I think that that will come into fruition come the end of this weekend. So those were the 5 games that I think will play over 2.5 come the end of this weekend, and I will be doing a very, very quick recap to refresh the memory and tell you guys how exactly it is. So the first game, like I said, was Freiburg versus Eintracht Frankfurt. I think this game will end up in a 2.5. Villarreal versus Betis. I think it will end up in a 2.5. Olympique Marseille versus Le Havre. I think it will end up in a 2.5. Over 2.5, that is. And then Heracles Feyenoord. I think it will also end up in an over 2.5. And then lastly on the list, Al Nassr versus Al Fateh. I think it will also end up in an over 2.5. So thank you guys for sticking with me on this video, and I hope you get your winnings come the end of this week. So thank you guys, and good luck as you bet.